Melmont was another coal mining town in the Carbon Canyon of Washington State, founded in 1900 by the Northwest Improvement Company. By 1918, the mines were closed by Northwest Improvement Company, but a couple were reopened by the Carbon Hill Coal Company of Carbonado. By the early 1920s, the remaining mines were closed, and most of the town burned in a forest fire. This is the superintendent's house. It was located about halfway between the powder shack and the school. And here's the superintendent's house on the map. This was the second schoolhouse built out in Melmont. The original was down closer to the powder shack. It sat up the hill from the rest of the town site. In 1920, Stephen Pock bought the schoolhouse to salvage the wood for his own home further up the valley. All that remains now is the basement foundation. This was a coal chute that led down to the basement. This was the blacksmith and machine shop. Most will recognize the wall if you've ever taken the Melmont Ghost Town hike. This is the first foundation on your right as you walk down the railroad grade from the Fairfax Bridge. This was the wagon and car bridge that led out of Melmont and up to Fairfax further up the valley. This is all that's left of the bridge, the footing on the Melmont side. Here's looking out across the river towards the Fairfax side. And these bands, they're down in the river. You can see them in the old photo. They crisscross underneath the road surface. There's quite a few of these down there that you can find if you poke around. In this old photo, you see the bunkers used to load the train cars, with a chute coming down from the upper workings and a conveyor leading up from the tipple here on the map, where you can also see the engine and boilers. This is the foundation for the engine and boilers house. You can see some of the bolts sticking up that would have held the engines down. Here's part of a pulley from one of those engines. This would have had a wide leather belt running a generator, a pump, or even an air compressor. And here's a piece of electrical cable. The powder house is probably one of the most photographed buildings left out at Melmont. It was used to store the dynamite and black powder. This is one of the fan houses on the map for the Melmont mines. It had a wooden airway running into the air portal. You can see here the fan shaft and all the spokes hanging off of it. There was a big fan wheel to the left side, and the right side held the motor. So here's one of the other air shafts. This one had a fan house with concrete. You can see it's pretty well, caved in and been grown over for quite a few years. But you'll see it is just kind of a bowl here with this opening here. The walls kind of wrap around all the way. And so then you follow it out this way. And you get to the fan house. All full of water. There's the, see if I can get in here a little further. But basically that was the fan. You see a big gear up in there. The shaft. I don't know if that's a transmission or... That was the fan. You can kind of see the walls of the foundation there. It's actually all full up of water now. But that was what pulled the air and pushed the air from the mine on the number 3 tunnel. There you have it. There's a little better view of the fan house here. You can see the, see if I can get this out there. Look at how big that thing is. You got a keyway there. It's got that, I don't know if you can see it from this side, but it's got a big gear under there. Keyway going down. These would have been all the spokes for the fan wheel. And there's part of the housing for it. That's the other one side of the housing. That's where the shaft would have gone through to be driven by a either steam or gas engine, and then gone in that way towards the mine. Still got the bottom's all rounded, so I'm assuming the middle in there is pretty deep. But yeah, so there's a little better view of it without all the brush and trees and stuff hanging over it. You can see a fan and a chute here on the map that coincide with where this hole in the ground is. This is the only open hole left out at Melmont that leads to the workings. I believe this was a air shaft, and they had filled it with trees and backfilled it, and the trees rotted out and let it slough into the point it was at here. There was just a big pile of dirt at the end where it looked like it used to go down more. This is the ramp looking back up and out. You definitely need a rope, although I wouldn't recommend dropping in it if you do find it. This is what's left of an old coal cart. You can see the wheel and part of the frame. This would be the lever to dump it. Some more of the framework. And here's the latch that the dump lever would have activated.